Hello, welcome to this market snapshot. Today we're having a look at the British pound, only just because we've had some UK inflation data that's come in ahead of expectations, and so that has its implications for the Bank of England, but it also has more global implications because of the rout that we've seen in markets in the past week over higher inflation fears. So not only does this probably make a spring rate hike from the Bank of England pretty much a base case scenario at this point, but also it means that this fear that the markets had that inflation is picking up and that global central banks are going to have to ratchet back their easier policy, it gives that a little bit of credence. So we're not seeing any immediate big risk-off sentiment at the moment. The big one probably is US inflation data tomorrow, but this will certainly add to it. But for the moment, we're going to have a look at the chart of the British pound and where this leaves us and where we could go from here. Right, so this is our weekly chart for the pound against the dollar. I've just got the inflation data on the screen here. As you can see, Jan, we saw less deflation than was expected. Obviously, you get a big boost over Christmas. You had a bit of a downturn in prices. In January, that was to be expected. But this is the key, that prices are still 3% year on year, so well above the Bank of England's inflation target of 2%, obviously. And then also worth mentioning that obviously the forecast for minus 0.6 for it to, the yearly inflation to drop to 2.9, so we beat that. And then even on the core prices, we're at 2.7% year on year, rather than a drop down to 2.6 as was expected. So this is the weekly chart. It's a little bit unclear because of all the drawings I've been putting all over it, but you can see that we've had a big downturn as the dollar popped in the last week or so, but actually we're still in a generally comfortable uptrend here. So we have to be savvy to that. Even if this correction does go a bit further, the overall context here is that we're moving higher in the pound, for the time being at least. Probably the big level that denotes that for the time being is the 136 level. That was the resistance that we saw the big breakout from. And naturally you would expect a little, if we did get a pullback to that area, for that form of resistance to turn into some support. If we drop down to the daily chart, we can kind of see what we've been dealing with here. So we had that kind of double top at the 143. We broke through the neckline. We've headed lower. We've not really met the target yet for a double top pattern. But then again, that talks to the general strength of the British pound, this overall uptrend we've been talking about. We pulled back to this first support zone, if you like, where there was the pullback here on the way up. And that was where we initially tried to bounce from. Couldn't quite do it the first time. We've dropped lower into this next box where we had the pullback down here to this little support area, but we haven't got to the bottom of this box yet. We pretty much only closed within it a couple of times, and now we seem to be heading higher. So it's looking positive for the time being that maybe this second area of a second zone of support is going to be the last of this decline, but we haven't quite put in any kind of considerable reversal pattern or made any kind of higher highs yet, at least on a daily basis. And for the time being, we remain below the 50 level on the RSI and the 20 period moving average. So some little bit of reason for caution here, but it looks like we're maybe heading off the lows. Perhaps we've ended this correction. So that's it for our snapshot today. We have that higher inflation data. It's caused a bit of a pop in the pound, but we're still in correction phase in the pound. So we have potential to head lower towards that 136 level, but we are looking for reversal patterns to suggest that maybe this is the worst that we've seen in this correction. Thanks for watching the video, and obviously if you do like these and you want to see more as they're released, please follow us on social media.